Okay, my name is Kelly. I'm talking as slow as I think that I possibly can right now, just without sounding too strange, because I'm in a room that is sort of quiet, but it's also public. So I'm going to try to film a reading because I've not done this in a very long time. All right. I'm going to do 3 piles. Each pile has their own deck, and then I'll add other cards to them. And I am pulling these piles with the intent that that energy stays in that specific pile. And then these cards here I have already shuffled, and then the top card I took from each deck and placed here. I have not looked at these cards. So, okay. I'm just explaining 3 different situations that we have going on right now. So this is a pick a card reading. It is a general reading, and you may take this message if you feel any resonation to it. If not, just please let it pass. Okay. So I was supposed to start with this deck here, but honestly, I feel like that one's the juiciest. I don't know, I'll go last with that, but it's really heavy. Okay, so we're just gonna start with this deck here, and I'm not gonna look at this card until we kind of wrap it up. I'm gonna use that sort of as confirmation. All right, so far for this deck, I have pulled the 3 of Cups, the Hermit, and the 2 of Swords. And I simply have only pulled these because after my shuffle, they were the top card again I took off, and then again the top card and the bottom card, or sometimes if the bottom 2 cards sort of fell, I took those and then the top card. So this was just after I shuffle. I'm gonna scoot these over. Okay. I don't really read reversals in the traditional way. If they come out, if the card flies out, I only take it as a resonate to the message and the train of thought that I'm already in. So please do not get worried or hung up on the way that the card comes out, unless you are following the story with me and we're in the same train of thought together, if it resonates. So again, it is a general reading, but messages are for certain people, and part of it might be for you, and then part of it might not make sense, and that's definitely okay. This one is definitely about witches and witchcraft. And what we have them doing here is we have them actually creating isolation. So we'll see if another card comes out here, but we're having this Hermit here is actually being purposefully isolated by these women here. They are confusing the truth. They're confusing the location, actually, for this guy. They're confusing a location for whoever we're about to see, probably over here. They use music, and they also use physical food and drink. So something that something that someone would ingest, and that could be something that would be considered acceptable to ingest for a human that is in lethal doses, or with things hidden inside, and I'm talking about like a lethal plant medicine, or it could also be a random household goods at this point. They have a ritual that they're doing. They're obviously using a type of well, I'm gonna say music, and then magic was gonna come out, but honestly, it's more of like, so I'm thinking this is something to do with rhythm, and this has something to do specifically with the confusion of the 2 swords in the mind, like confusing the paths, just confusing the direction. This type of music or rhythm is a type of ritual that they've already known how to do, and they are sort of, I say stitch you up and stitch you down, but if you almost as if a thought is coming into your mind, they catch on to whatever maybe the sound is at the end of the thought, or they try to match the word, or they try to rhyme the word, and then they create the next thought that follows the first one that was your original, to confuse the third thought that's going to come in. They're coming in rapidly, but so this is causing interference, and what they're doing is they're sort of standing here at the gates, you could say, of a person's mind, And then when this person is trying to logically figure something out, they are coming in and trying to interfere with the thought and then change the thought of the person that is trying to be logical and coherent and honestly just figure out the truth. So it's definitely, it's a deception, and it's simply this up here. It is to create a blockage, and it's a complete sever. The Two of Swords used to confuse me a bit, frustrate me, but it's a complete sever. So it is really like, is it up or down? Then there's no clues, and then there might be trickery. So nothing is very difficult. So it's very, very difficult to see the truth. You have to really be patient, and this would take, you know, someone almost finding like the wrinkle in time, or you know, the sheen, or a certain stitch or line in fabric. So this would be something that would, because it is involved in witchcraft, but because it has to be so precise. Like if you've ever rolled out a trash bag roll thing to try and find the next one, and you just can't find the seam to rip the next one, it's like that. It's very frustrating for the person in their mind, because they have to catch it like that. So that is how I could explain the picture of it. So I'm picturing a black trash bag roll, a really thick one, and you're rolling it out trying to rip off the next one. Just have one trash bag. It's very hard to find that seam. It is there. You can find it. It takes extreme concentration, because we're talking about the mind. So I'm just saying. So this is a group of witches. It's honestly 3 or more, but 2 think that they're the main 2. You know what I'm saying? Both of these women that think that they're the main 2, like you could say that one of them is considered, you know, like front and center, front row, but this other girl also considers herself that secretly. That's just not spoken about, you know. It's like when they're both walking down the street or the hallway, so maybe they work together in a building. Usually, like, they're like, oh, hey, like the one in the middle is usually the name that they would call out the most, and they're like, oh, hey, you know, type of thing. So it's one to say, obviously this girl is jealous. Like, it is obvious. I'm just saying that there's a third one here. So these 2 are having their own secret meeting without the third one. Yeah, just as I was thinking of the movie Jawbreaker. So the one of the friends is murdered on her birthday. It's a prank. It's supposed to be an accident. It's a scary prank. She ends up dying. She chokes on a jawbreaker. Anyways, there's a girl who witnesses it. Another classmate sort of witnesses what happened. So they turn this, you know, try to give this other young girl, you know, a chance to be part of their friend group, to not say what happened to the girl that was murdered. So anyways, like, she's here, but she's not here. So it's kind of like that. Like, I'm part of the group, but I'm not. But they're done and dirty. They obviously mess with men. So this is specifically about a man. I know it's the Hermit card, but it's specifically about a man. And whoever is doing this, they're confusing someone to not get to him. So it's not only is he trapped, because it's both ways. So she's looking back this way and he's looking back this way. So they're both kind of guards. And then the third person is some sort of third party that might, you know, handle or kind of bring in or do, you know, some sort of gossiping or some kind of weird talk around the people that we're going to see soon, probably, that are sort of trying to approach and get to this man, or figure out what's going on here. So you're going to imagine that these women here are in the middle of a forest, and you're trying to get to one location from one of the forests to the other location, you know, to the end of the forest, which is him over here, and you have to go in between these women here. So their job is to create the deception. So this man here, he is aware that these women are dangerous. He is aware. But he also, not only does he have to go through these women, he has to go through these women. This is a group of women, but even, so it's like, even if they considered themselves, like, let's say that this is a place of employment. So let's say they are the owners and, you know, the investors, but they're also the hiring managers, and now they're also HR. It's the same people. You know, these ones come and go, because there's a third one that is also here. We just haven't met them. She hasn't popped in yet. But this is so we've got one main woman here watching and filtering people's thoughts, okay, to confuse them. It's a complete manipulation, but this is serious because she's a bit more powerful. So she's sort of in the middle, because if you get through these two, then you still have to get through these two. And so this man is aware of these dangerous women. I'm not really sure if he's trapped himself. So because it is the Hermit, he may have decided to sort of go into enclosure mode because he can't escape these women. He might be trying to figure out how to save himself from these women, because they are using different types of poison, poison of the mind and poison of the physical body. So he's trying to figure out how, not as soon as it alchemizes, it's not alchemizing, he's actually just trying to prevent his death. So he's thinking about prevention right now and how to keep his life force alive. So he's not like sitting there thinking, he's not doing any type of philosophy thinking. I mean, he has a lot of time on his hands, it would seem, but he's actually just trying to protect himself at this moment, especially because this weirdo girl, okay. Yeah, I mean, so we're talking about, I'm looking at the main three. So like, let's say you're looking at somebody who has sort of like a pyramid scheme or a downline. And so you have, because obviously this one here, this one we haven't met yet, she's not one of their main groups. This other one's gone. She's obviously a sacrifice. She's a bye-bye. Yeah, she's not there anymore. So the third one, they had to do something heavy, like really bright part they really had to go into. So it's like if they've done, some people call it CIA technology, other people call it Illuminati, or, whatever you want to call it, secret society, a combination of things, because it's 2026. But have been able to go into your minds. And some people sign up for this. It's sort of like a dare tactic. How strong do you think you are? Can you, defeat this, blah, blah, blah. Other people, like myself, I had no idea that they were going to do that to me. It was a sacrifice. Then I could hear. So this is real. They do sign up for this. But you can hear in your mind, so it's almost like, you're not going to know when, you're not going to know how, but I'm going to get you. And you can hear that. And so that is part of, so it's like if you've seen the Hunger Games, I'm trying to explain it, like some people are not aware they're going to get thrown into the Hunger Games. Other people, it's like almost a shock and a fear, and I guess they're just waiting. And so that's when you might have to be like, well, why did you commit fraud? And they might say, well, due to stress and pressure. Because in that circumstance where it's like, I'm actually trapped here, I know that we got sacrifice. I don't want it to be my family, but I also know that I can't tell these innocent people that we're sacrificing that it's going to be them, and they're not going to know, like lambs to a slaughter. So let's imagine that's that kind of business. And then there's downlines. So you have this main group that's up here in the middle that's already doing it. So these are witches, okay? And so now it's getting a little creepy and crazy, and they're hiring all these other people and their downlines to keep this hermit and whoever wants to get towards him away from each other, from just having honest communication at this point. So you have all these downlines, and then you have all these other groups, okay? So like this weirdo could be all these other people also watching the same person, or multiple other people similar to the same person. So it doesn't have to be just two plus a missing third right now. So there's three. These are multiple. And so if you're thinking about a business and everybody has a different job, so there's like multiple hiring managers, and then they're all like, let's huddle into a different group, and then now we're going to specialize into different topics, and then now let's get out and join the community so that there's even more. So it's like you have many different levels of people in this business. If you're going to call it a business, you can call it a family, you can call it your community outreach program, it's something, whatever. I'm just letting you know that these are people that think that they are in charge of the narrative that they call it, but actually truly in charge of the truth. So that they think that they are the keepers, and that they not only write the story, like they play the music, they're writing, they're creating the lyrics, they're creating the notes, they're really stitching you up in time and space. And they also think that they are in charge of the truth. They don't call it manipulating the truth. They call it, seeing time. They do call it the three fates. They call, so they are in charge of the game. So these are women. These aren't men. I mean, there's a lot of sick men everywhere, but I'm talking about these specific witches. I mean, so if you've seen the movie Stardust with Robert De Niro and Claire Danes and more, it's kind of like that. All of a sudden, a star is awoke, you know, and then that could be anything part of him that's integrated. It could be anything to do with his age. It could be something to do with his inheritance. It could be something to do with a milestone or a timeline that he has come across that's important. Then it's almost like a star has been born. So these specific groups, these specific businesses are now highlighted for this type of person. Like many types of person like this guy, and then there's gonna be many, so this spans the entire world. And so, and then these ones would be almost like your runners and your appointment setters, and the people that kind of get in your way, your sirens, or you know, anyone that's just kind of like, not only is it swords, they like to run their mouth, but it's like a complete confusion mind F. It's really annoying. That's really annoying. And then you also have the third party, who's like the invisible third party that you don't know. So it's like the random person, like you go, you know, to a new job or school or just like whatever, and there's a bunch of strangers there you don't know. So it's going to be that random person you don't know, because these people, these two, when they got rid of their friend, they didn't know that this random whoever was witnessing this. So that's very important to know that the person that you're meeting, just like circumstance, happenstance, you know, that's that third party that was hired in. The other ones, like over here, these are going to be fairly familiar. Like if you're going to talk about hierarchy or Hollywood, you might say that these would be people that you would never be able to touch, but you would know who they are. And then these would be people that would maybe have a YouTube channel or a talk show, okay? And then even lower than that, you have, you know, your up and coming interns and sorority groups, okay? I'm being serious. And then on another side, you have like people who are trying to grow in their church groups and stuff like that. So that is serious, but they do work together, just to let you know. And so it is like, you know, levels. And so they do get really excited about wanting to be like these ones, because it's kind of like the main, you can see they're dressed differently. They want to be whatever their thing is. So if you've seen Harry Potter, and then you go into that one space, it's kind of like an attic, but it's a room, and it's closed off, but they make it in there, and it's a mirror. And when you look into the mirror, you can see your greatest desires. So it's like that. That's how they get people. So, okay, this is already almost 20 minutes, but I guess I'm going to make this a part 2 in a second. I'm going to stop it for now. Okay, so this is part 2. I'm just trying to decide, like, I'm actually sort of running out of time on my read, and I've already started pulling for my other decks, and I'm supposed to get through these. Whoops. So I can't really go into detail. That was already almost 17 minutes, and it was just an introduction. I'm just trying to figure out how long I can make these at the moment. So I'm just actually, instead of going through the deck and giving you more, I'm just going to flip over it and see what this card was here. And it is a Queen of Pentacles. So they are stopping a Queen of Pentacles from getting to the Hermit. Actually, there's a woman trying to get to this man. Yeah. Obviously, he probably wants to get to her as well, but she's like specifically trying to send him healing energy, it looks like. I think that they both know exactly what's going on, especially because she's the Queen of Pentacles. And this is to do with matter, magic, black magic, witchcraft. So this person is not the hidden third party. I could shuffle again and see what comes out. But that is what's happening. There is a true Queen of Pentacles trying to get to the Hermit. The Hermit, I don't know where he's trying to go. He's trying to get through, but he's just focused on safety. Like he can't focus on anything else. It's almost like he's looking at nothing but a wall and what he must do to like preserve himself. And you can tell that he wants to stay alive. It's really important, but he actually is just, it almost feels like a dangerous situation. So this person is from a distance. I must have put her up here because she doesn't worry about these ones. Because this is just the chatter. This is the more of the matter, that they're able to use. They have spread it down into different downlines, like I say, to giving stuff to different people so they can feel their spiritual attacks. And they do that, and it is, especially, but I'm just focusing on this right now, is this Queen of Pentacles is trying to bypass these ones right here just to get to him, to continue to give him life force. So that is, it feels like that is the situation. So if we're just talking about what the situation is, situationally with these 4 cards, this woman knows how to use matter in such a way that I do believe that she is trying to send this person just energy from a distance. She's just not able to get through him. And also because she's kind of up top and in the middle, because it's Pentacles, she's of the earth. It's almost like it's like this would be her home. So this would be her home in that middle of the forest. If you got to the clearing in the middle of the forest when you were trying, like this would be where she would normally reside. This would be where her kingdom is, where she's building. So she's trying to combat whatever they're doing to him, and at the same time, they've invaded her home. And then these ones are also preventing anybody. So it's true, it's possible they could be preventing anyone from getting to her. They could be trying to confuse everybody's mind on the both of them, like everybody's mind every way, but specifically on getting into the middle, getting to the clearing. You could consider it Middle Earth. You could consider it someone being stuck in meditation. You can consider it someone being stuck in other world, especially if they have passed on and you can't see them. And you can consider them being sort of trapped in this middle space. But also, if you just talk about our reality now as we are alive, and the witchcraft is so heavy and stopping people from moving forward. And like, honestly, the only goal here is for people who are our protector is to save the planet at this point, simply because we are dying as a planet. It has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with protecting us and lying to us. But the only goal is to protect. So the rest is just your trickery. Just so that's obvious. So we don't even have to worry about that, where we have to get distracted with words on that. It would take a really strong person who is only focused here on protecting people and the planet and humanity and our integrity and the fire within, protecting people for real, that would be able to truly being able to go back and forth and send energy back and forth to people. That is why some people call it twin flames, or you can call it soul tribe. You can call it long distance Reiki. You can call it good intention. You can also call it prayer. But that is why a really good, strong being of light can send that distance healing towards people, can send blessings, can send their own spirit team. Please go protect my friend. Please go protect my loved one. That is that type of energy when somebody becomes a king or queen of the earth. And that is, you can call it being chosen, you can call it being anointed, but this also comes with experience. So this is somebody that not only is trained in a craft or has to be a professional healer, this is just somebody who has earned it spiritually, and they could be 5 years old or they could be 80. It honestly does not matter. It is only up to that person and what they have experienced and how they have learned to hold energy in their body and then send out powerful energy towards other people. And this is a protective energy because it's earth energy. This man is trapped almost like he's in a cave. These women, they do embalming while people are alive, and they try to change reality. So it's very, very important, especially now when you're talking with the mind. It's always been a he said, she said, it's her, it's witchcraft. However, now at this point with technology, it is 2026, and they have been doing this since the early 80s and 90s, accurately enough to get enough information where they would know every single thing about what that person was going to do next. And now it's 2026, so they can even predict thoughts based on somebody's situation and who they are. So that's very, very serious because they've dissected every single part of the brain. So you could call everything of this a conspiracy theory, you could call it aliens, but all it really is are scientists in suits. So you are drugged, you are blacked out, then you wake up, you see those ring of lights. The ring of lights are those ring of hospital lights. They put on masks to scare you, but that's why sometimes you woke up, like I woke up trying my wisdom tooth operation. Like sometimes people wake up and then it's almost like it was a nightmare or it's a bad dream. And honestly, they want you to remember those little clips of weirdness. That is one group, I'm just saying that's honestly serious. They've always masked themselves. It could be an iron mask. It could be a scary mask that's for World War torture. It could be a clown mask because you think you're funny now, like horrors, like going crazy. It could be a hoodoo or a voodoo mask that is very, very serious because you're binding and torturing someone and putting their energy into that mask. And it could simply just be lying and running your mouth on someone. So that's very, very serious. But they obviously aren't going to say, it's me, it's me. But real quick, while I'm talking about this, some of these people, because they've got all kinds of crazy downlines, and they don't know. So let's talk about this invisible third person for a second. This invisible third person caught on to something somewhere. They didn't have enough to bribe, but they also know that what these witches are doing is highly illegal. I mean, it's more than highly legal, it's forbidden. So this third invisible person over here that we can't see is aware that this is highly illegal. So they do know they have something. And so that is why, obviously, these higher witches are going to end up getting this third person to be doing their bidding. But the third person, for a second, is going to think, wait a minute, I have leverage here. I can get them back. And so they will be tricked. They will be fooled in the long run. They will become a slave to torture and their masters or whatever. But they are going to be cocky enough to think that they have something on these women. And so, and it's men too, but I'm just saying, don't forget. So then you have to also remember that there's multiple information stashed all over the place, because this invisible person might know random stuff or random people, and they go to this person and they go to that person and they go to that person. So if you can hear this, and it doesn't really matter who you are, but if you understand what I'm saying, I will be very careful with the people that you associate yourselves with at this time, because you're doing very scary stuff with bindings. I'm talking about wordings and contracts and strange stuff where you would have no idea. I mean, the trickery here is insane. So I'm going to talk about Pan's Labyrinth and Peter Pan. Well, Peter Pan as a man was a boy, and his shadow was stolen, eaten alive. And so all you have now is this really scary, like, little boy creature thing. And it's not even Peter Pan anymore. So that's like John Travis and doing all the trickery and the insane stuff and putting you in between a rock and a hard place. Well, then I can't go anywhere, and that's obvious. So then you shred my brain into pieces and take every part of my humanity. But you know that there's no testing that you could possibly do to a human now at this point in 2026 that could ever give you more understanding into the human body ever. Any part of the human body. There's never a test. So it's only torture. Pure torture, so you know what you're doing. You torture somebody so bad that that's all that's left of them is that peace. But what's really scary is the people that are good people only get tortured to the point where they completely lose themselves into nothingness. So it's only this scary little thing that's left over, this Pan type of creature with these sharp little teeth that's just tricking you and joking you. Ha ha ha. It's not fucking funny. It's not funny. And so that is, like, you can cry about the government all you want, but that is who you have running their law everywhere. Ha ha ha. Kick you from behind. Ha ha ha. They don't have to know. Like, you are not cool. Nobody wants to follow your style. Nobody wants to follow your fucking rules. It's not a fun party to be a sadistic torturer. You don't give someone a fucking puzzle and take away the last piece and then laugh at them. You don't teach them a new language while you keep them hidden in the dark and then fucking laugh at them and call them stupid. That is what ruins your line of divinity. And it's not your fault, it's your torturer's fault. The ha-ha person. These people. All the good people out here are dying. People of the earth. Real humans. We are not supposed to be dissected. The fact that you could even make a Guardians of the Galaxy #3 and torture those little animals on film. Disgusting. You still do that to humans as well. And anyone, ha ha ha. It's not fucking funny. Torture like that is never acceptable. Nobody could ever deserve to have their humanity stripped from every single level possible. And what is happening right now, combined with what you put in the food, everybody's aware. Even if you complain about taxes, you are aware that they have new stuff in the food and it's not organic anymore. You are aware of factory farming and the fear and the torture. You are also aware that it gets recycled back into your fucking bodies. You're aware of the medical system. You're very aware. So you're ha 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 and you fucking chatter. Your bad style on Bravo. Honestly, it's disgusting. So, later, take that into thought. But either way, that's enough for this one. All right, this is part 2. This is my second deck here. I have the third card that I will flip over at the end. I've made these accidentally just a little bit long, but I guess that's just how it goes. So the first card that flipped off of the deck for this one was the Six of Swords. Sorry, I can barely read. I don't really have a setup. The Seven of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. I asked for different stories to be with each deck, but this is another one where someone is trying to get to someone and is not able to get to someone, so they are in a waiting period. It's more than a stalemate period. This feels like a never-ending doom. This feels like this person, let's imagine that this man is the same man in all 3 cards. It does feel like this person is not given up fully, but is on the brink of giving up. It feels like this harvest is never going to come, almost like if he's looking at this and the harvest was ruined. It could be infested with something. It could have, been dried out. I'm not really sure, but it does feel like he really is. Like, it's almost like when you get so devastated, you can't scream, you can't cry. Like, it's more than disappointment. It's just like this card feels almost like he's in shock. So it's almost like he's imagining in the situation. I feel like this is his situation, and the situational is that he's sort of in the shock moment and just realizing that he's not going to be able to get whatever it is he was going to want to get. Not only that, this is something that he has worked very, very hard for most of his life, and if not most of his life, it would be a very extreme focused chunk of time that he has spent to have whatever it is that he wanted to have. And he did work for it, honestly. But whatever happened it does not look right. So whatever it is, he's in a moment of shock. He is simultaneously at one time thinking about how he wants to hold on to something, how his dreams have not come true, are not going to come true, and it's almost like he barely has anything, but almost like he knows he's supposed to have more. It's like, I have everything. I know I already have everything. Like, he's already done the whole, like, I've manifested correctly the life that I'm supposed to have. He has done all of the work. He really, truly has. So it's like he knows the world is mine, but he doesn't have the world, and he's desperately trying to hang on to it. But he's also trying to hang on to all of the pieces of himself. So, like, you see where the stars are, you're talking about star chakra energy. So you're thinking about the crown chakra at the top. Then he's holding this pentacle between his 2 hands with their star chakras. And then he has his feet onto other ones, which are also star chakras. So these ones are larger. They're connecting him to physical matter here on the planet. It looks like he's wearing a cape. I mean, this one's not in color, so I can't remember what the traditional one looks like, but it's in a crown. So he's not only imagining, it's like he knows that this is his. So whatever this is the shock and devastation of a loss. And a loss that he's been trying to rectify for a very long time. Very long. And that is why these tentacles on his chakras are so big, because you might not see the status that he has around him with his physical goods, but the energy that he possesses is extremely important. Like, this man is supposed to become an emperor. Okay, that's why he has 4. He knows he is supposed to, and is already stable and creating the stability. If only he had what was all supposed to be his. He has worked for it. He's also thinking about, at the same time, who he's supposed to be getting over here. So he's supposed to be going somewhere, so they could be trying to go to wherever he has imagined that it's supposed to be his, or already is his, and it's not his anymore. But whatever it is, like, this person, these people, it could be multiple people, it could be one person and a pet. I mean, this person, it feels responsible, like, for other people. So it could be a group of people, it could be your family, 1 or 2 animals, it could be anything. this person feels responsible for whatever is in this boat, and whatever's in this boat has been extremely hard. And so this is the Six of Swords. So you've gotten to the Six now. So as you go into the Three of Swords, you've already been, it's like complete effery. I mean, you've been completely betrayed. When you've been completely betrayed, it's like it removes part of your soul, like hollows you out. So you already have to deal with the fact that if you've already been dealt with the Three of Swords, that's a serious effing betrayal. So you've been hollowed out. And then you've already gotten to the Six, which is like, I'm trying to get to peace, but we, meaning the animals, the people, and I'm thinking specifically, someone's thinking about animals that have been tortured, but also people, and specifically this person, like him, like he's just like, I'm on the brink of having everything I need. I'm barely alive. So it's like this person that finally made it is defeated. So that this, you've gotten to the Six, they're supposed to be on their way to sanctuary, and it's been something that has been so traumatic of his mind. So physical, probably yes, especially since he is stressed in this way, like he works outside, but also what has been done to him, reality has not been clear. He has not been given the tools that he needed. He's not been supported in any way. So he's had to figure things out on his own. So the stress of what he's had to accomplish through the mind without having the proper details or equipment or anything like that has really stressed him out. And then he does physical labor somehow where it's like, I did the work, I need the produce. Like the harvest has to be mine type of thing. So wherever he's like trying to get to, it's like this is a responsibility as well as a responsibility for holding down a safe location, maybe once they get there. But he's thinking like, and this is not even a choice. Like he does not have this choice. This is not a manipulative person, because someone's just thinking like, well, he could go either way. He could go and protect these people that are hurt, or he could go and maybe make a business or something like that. No, he would never do that. This is a person that is already spiritually anointed, especially this card right here that's already coming after the Seven of Pentacles. He has earned it. Whether you see the reward on him or not, it is there. This person would never betray the spirituality that he is now. It has nothing to do with religion. It is just he knows oneness and he would never go back. But he's thinking like, I have to be a responsibility here. Plus it's his. It's like, you can't forget, like, that's his. Okay? And then he's thinking about all this pain, the pain that they've been through. Okay, so you know you're gonna go to the Six, or to the other side. The Six of Swords is supposed to be you're on the mend, so you might get some soothing, because what comes before that, sorry about my hand, is the Five of Swords, and that's very vindictive. Okay, so if you're gonna go back, you know, you go to the Ace of Swords, you're like, I need to know that what's the effing truth here, because if you don't know the truth, then you're stuck in a trick. You're in a weird little trick game. Nobody needs to trick, which is what's the truth, so I can live. Like, that's very serious. So then you get the number 2, and then you've got the Two of Swords, which is the mind effery. So it's like, then you've got someone in the way. Well, like, up is down and left is right and right is left. You know, you don't know that language and you don't know this and you're nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then you got the Two of Swords. So it's like, well, F. I don't know the truth and I also can't get through. So then you get the Three of Swords. So it's like, I'm bound to be betrayed then, aren't I? And then they blame that on you. Well, it's definitely not your fault. It's like, I just wanted the truth. And then you go to the Four of Swords, and then you're sort of paralyzed there. So either you need to be in another rest and recovery space, or you are honestly, you can't move. So either way, you're frozen due to the response of the Three of Swords. Then you get to the Five of Swords again, because you're trying to find sanctuary. After you got out, you have to live again. You have to find safety while living. You can't be hiding. So when you go back out, then everybody is fighting. And then you have to choose a side. So the person was thinking, well, you have to make that choice. We're not there yet. You still have to remember your value and integrity to that person. But to this person who's here is thinking about, well, we just went through all of that torture and all of that war. We finally made it out, and now we're in the boat, and I can't get to that person. It's like, that's what they're thinking. I can't even give them like any type of safety. So like, this is almost a person who's had a really hard life, who understands trauma and understands responsibility. And you could say this is somebody who has not had any real wealth in their life that has really created it. And especially since here he's still at the Seven of Pentacles, like he doesn't even have his like proper business, or like his business failed and it was a small business, like whatever it was that he worked so hard for, he feels like it definitely wasn't enough to where he was supposed to be. He's felt a lot of pain his whole life. And then he knows whoever he is supposed to protect has also felt a lot of pain their whole life. So he's very aware that they're wounded, but this person hasn't given up, and that's why they won't give up. But at the same time, what the situation is happening right here is this man seems a bit frozen, because he, like, the energy in him wants to move and it can't, and he wants to move forward and get these people to safety, but he can't. He's not physically able to move forward somehow. So what is this card? Yeah, so the Eight of Cups. So it's like this man is trying to figure out how he can go in both directions, which is really difficult at the same time. So for some reason, now he has to figure out, like, it's not like which way. It's like, I'm going both ways. I have no choice to win. I have to go both ways. Like, it's always been that way. So it's like, if you watch the movie Incredibles, there's a lot more movies, cartoon. It's like, they hate, who are you going to save? It's like, she has to save, obviously, all of them. Like, I don't think so. Like, you know. So he has to figure out a way to do both. And now it is the Cups. It's the Eight of Cups. So he's aware that he has to leave something behind, but at the same time, it's very scary because he's attached to this. So I don't really know. This person is in a place of frozen thought on how to accomplish both of these things, especially after our most recent failure. So that's my piece. Okay, Taylor again, and this is my last one. I'm really sorry about the phone quality. All I have is my iPad and just a couple of cards that I had left in my little case. So, but I know we had to do this, and it's also kind of just a test read. Okay, so the ones that I got on this deck were the Moon. Someone's just thinking, they're already thinking about Willow. Well, good for you. Looks like we had extra pop out. And we've got the Four of Swords. Sorry. The Sun. I am paying attention. I don't read reversals, but I am paying attention to the fact that that came out reversed. So I move these. Sorry, I just want one. I'm actually going to do this. I can't really see those. Okay. My CD's really kicking in, but I'm trying not to be mad about it. It's too cold outside and I can't do this in the snow and wind. So, anyways. Okay, this is situational. Again, what's happening in this situation. So I am reading them from here to here and then there to there, just because that is how I saw them. But I also then wanted to set them up like that because it felt like that's what I was supposed to do. So, okay, just a minute. I think this through. I can't stand something. I do not want to get mad. I'm going to make this one really quick because I do not want to get mad. And this is a violent one that I get really upset about. I'm like pissed. I even had to draw these cards I haven't talked about. Okay, so this one for me is like when somebody gets sick and they're dying, okay, and they're sick, and then somebody else who's really manipulative and doesn't really care and knows that this person is sick but wants to do subliminal torture and make this person actually feel bad, okay, in the moment that they're feeling sick. This happens especially with children and it doesn't get noticed, but it happens all the time. But anyways, I'm talking about, we can go to the church again, we can talk about sacrifices, but this is this energy where we have this sweet little person. It can be a child. I'm thinking it's probably a child. You have the Six of Cups, and then you have the Moon and the Sun with the Four of Swords. But I'm thinking of this as a very sweet, innocent, loving energy, okay? This is a child that is sick and maybe has a terminal illness, or has had some sort of injury where they feel less than, okay? They don't feel normal, and people notice that they don't feel normal. So it's something like that. This is a very beautiful, bright child. They're so sweet. No matter what happens to them, as they try so hard, they do put on a smile. You can see their heart breaks, but when they try so hard to put on a smile. They're really sweet. They're really sweet. They don't have, I'm talking about specific, well, I'm going to keep it general, but okay. They don't have the best support system. It would appear that they do, okay? It would appear that they do, but they do not. They do not receive, at this moment, this situation, the loving, nurturing energy that this little child gives out. They do not receive that. Not all. They often feel blamed, that something is their fault, especially for being sick or for being hurt, but they hold a lot of guilt in them that is not theirs, and they're not holding guilt from a past life. They're holding guilt that's not theirs from adults that are telling them that they did something wrong, or it's their fault, or I guess it was that way, or you're just not loved enough, or you just have to try harder. It's like that type of thing where it's like it breaks this child's heart. It's like this sweet little innocent, like it breaks her heart. This child is sick also, and it's like they're just accepting that they're sick. They're very, and there's also what I was saying, I'm so mad is because, well, one, they don't receive the nurture that they deserve, but also they have people coming in, religious-y type of people, whoever, and they're just like, oh, just thank you, you're such a sweet, you're dying for us, and thank you, and you'll be remembered, and you're such an angel. Like, is this type of creepy stuff where it's like, why would you say that to me? Like, and then it's like, it almost sounds like it's nice, but it's not. It's really backhanded. Like it hurts their feelings, like I'm still alive. Like, and honestly, like I didn't think it was that my fault. And I'm also sick. Why are you insulting me while I'm sick? Like, I know I'm supposed to accept my death, kind of thing. And it's like, this person is very fragile. So it doesn't have to be a child, but it's a very fragile person that is very sweet no matter what, but is like, you have the moon, so there's a lot of secrets behind why this person is sick. So I don't like it. And a lot of, I don't like when I talk about St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It's like, why aren't you just paying for their care? You don't need to research it. A lot of the research is painful for them, and a lot of times that research, you already know the answer to it. And then especially for people that are in disguise, like this is very serious. You have sadistic torturers who like pain. So if you want to talk about, you watch those horror stories, those true crimes, if you want to talk about people who are working in medical systems who enjoy pain, sadistic torture, you will find a lot of these people that work in cancer wards, in burn wards, in testing centers, where the sickest of the sick come in there, and they're in extreme pain because these people are not giving them pain relief. And this is their doctors and their nurses and their churches and their families, and you can do it, and you're so strong, and this and that. They know that they're in extreme pain, and they will not give them pain relief. It's sadistic. It's torture. And they're, oh, you're doing so great. Thank you for your sacrifice. And I'll be back in 10 minutes. They'll come back in 10 hours. You're like, I'm dying. Like, that's honestly the vibe I have here. I don't like it. And it is this like die in peace is the projection that they're trying to put on this person right here. And this person is a very, very sweet person. Like, they've been sweet their whole life, however long they've been alive. They've been sweet their past life. They've never done anything wrong. Like, God would never, ever blame this person. Ever. And honestly, they don't want to die for your sins. And they won't be protecting you. And they don't want to be remembered by you. How about somebody who actually loves them and care for them, that ever actually really did? Not just like the people who know you, like, I can vouch for them because I've known her my whole life. No. Somebody that actually cares about something beautiful inside of this person, that they could, do something nice. This is somebody who is feeling terminal, and they're in a lot of pain, and they have to hide it and be sweet while they're in so much pain. It's very serious. I don't like this one. This happens all the time. It's not okay for anyone sick to be in pain like that. It's honestly not okay for anyone to be in pain, but if you know that you could prevent the pain and ease their torture, you must do so. So what is this? Well, I'm just so proud of whoever is still trying. And you will be taken care of no matter what, and you don't have to sign up for anything. You do not have to sign up for anything to preserve your life, to protect anyone else, to do anything like that because you feel like you messed up or you did something wrong and you're running out of time. You do not have to do that. If you have certain assets, you know who to give them to, or you can keep them private, or you can bury them in the earth. You don't have to do anything with that. You're doing a really good job with your physical pain and your mental strength because nobody is giving you pain relief. And you can't say anything, and you can't react, and you can't show that you're in that much pain. And they say it's all in your head and take more deep breaths. And you're already a master at that. They have no idea the strength that you have in your body. It's very serious. And they know you're in pain. And they make you smile while you're in physical pain. I'm not kidding. It's very serious. Watch out for people like that. It's not funny. If you don't feel good, it's okay to say that you don't feel good. You don't smile. If you see someone smiling, you can tell they don't feel good. It's because they have somebody that's telling them to smile. So find out who their guardian is. Have a great day.